Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at l4frclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the NETSN Weekly Wrap-Up Show. It's your boy, Brett Swinney here. Alongside of me tonight, we got KO Kyle Owens, Christian Blevins, and Mr. Corey Marshall. How's it going, fellas?
Good.
Good.
It's good.
I'm glad everybody's doing good. Y'all are so excited tonight. A lot of excitement there. And Kyle and I were talking off air. Games were like so long ago that we're talking about tonight. I mean, it just feels that way. I don't know if maybe it's because I did a game Thursday and then a game Friday. Maybe it just seems like it's so long ago. And you had a lot of Thursday games, and it's been almost a week since those have happened. So maybe that's why. But guys, I had 8-2 this week. How'd you guys do?
I went 7-3. I went 7-3. Not a bad week. Didn't guarantee it. I did guarantee a 10-0, and I didn't deliver that. So I gotta improve this week.
It's all right. I went 9-1. I dropped one game,
7-3.
sadly.
9-1, huh?
I haven't yet.
You weren't on our leaderboard though, Christian.
I wasn't on the leaderboard, huh?
Yeah. No, you weren't 9-1. At least you didn't submit your picks that way.
Okay, that's dumb.
It happens to the best of us. I thought I
Well, I
submitted.
mean, we were in NAC, and I had my phone on the app, and I was about to submit them, and I thought I actually did submit them. So
We
I
had
don't know
we
what
had
happened.
7 people this week with 9-1. That was the best. Corey, you had a pretty good week. What'd you have?
7-3.
Solid week. We had Aaron Chitwood, BC Bird, Bobby Oglesby, our man Brandon Ogden, Christopher Nate, Cody Coe, old Chapel Hill buddy of mine, Derek Del Rio, our buddy Derek. All those had 9-1 this week. So shout out to all our 9-1 winners this week. It was a tough one. Nobody went 10 out of 10 this week. That was a tough week. Our man Jason Shivers, guys, is still in the lead at 97 points. Jamar Washington is right behind him at 92. And some guy named Brett 20 sitting in third with 89. I don't know who that guy is.
That's solid. That's solid.
Where is he? Where's Kyle? He's down here.
I
85.
threw a Hail Mary and bailed on the last 2 weeks.
You're tied with Jeremy. There's a guy ahead of you now, though. He's from DFW, and he's trying to overtake this whole show. I think this Diggs guy, and
he's not going to he can't take over the show. That belongs to Shivers.
That's true.
If you're paying attention, I'm going 10-0 this week.
Oh, okay. Corey, how can people find out? How can people find out how to get 10-0 this week? To see your picks.
Well, you need to be watching. First of all, you need to watch the Beast from the East report before this show to know what picks we were doing, know what picks we have. So I'm picking all the games, all the upsets. I'm telling you.
Is there
0-10 looks mighty good for you right now. I just want to let you know.
That's all right.
Eddie says, "Where's Eddie? Eddie's Eddie, you're 86. You're right there. You're right at the top.
Eddie is full of trap games this week. Man.
No trap games this week.
It's full of trap games.
Well, yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about last week. By district round, there were a lot of East Texas teams playing. I mean, there were games Thursday. Guys, I was at a game Thursday night. Jeremy and I were in Jacksonville, and there was a lot of rain going on. It was everywhere. So I know that probably affected some of the games on Thursday. It didn't affect Garrison. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But first off, we had Jefferson and Pottsboro on Thursday night. That was the first game in our Pick'em Challenge. Jefferson had the lead at some points, but Pottsboro was able to pull it out 34-28. I did have Pottsboro in this one. I thought this game would be close, but man, Jefferson scared me a little bit. I was worried for a while that they were going to. I think Jeremy and I had different picks. We kind of followed this game, and Jefferson was ahead, and then Pottsboro was able to pull it out. I had a feeling when the rain hit, I don't know what the weather was like there, obviously, because I wasn't there, but having a guy like Major McBride to hand the ball to when the weather's not really good for throwing had to be a help for Pottsboro. I mean, if you have a guy like that, if you're going to try to fling the ball around in that rain, it's not easy. So, guys, what do you think about this outcome?
I had picked Jefferson, and I thought because of a strong run game that Jefferson and I thought they had a stronger defense than Pottsboro. I knew Major McBride was going to have a game. I mean, he's pretty much unstoppable. He had 271 and 3 touchdowns on Thursday night. So Pottsboro played really well. I watched some of this game when I got back from the game that I was at. I watched a little bit of the fourth quarter, and it was just one of those classic slugfest that, each team gave each other their best shot. And Jefferson had a good season, but Pottsboro's going to be moving on, and they now got a juicy matchup next week. So that should be exciting.
Well, I did see some of the game while we were in Nacogdoches, and Pottsboro I actually did pick Pottsboro to win because really, in all seriousness, my whole week last week was defenses need to step up. I don't care who you are, whether you're first, second, third, or fourth seed. I don't care who you are, but mostly if you were a third seed, you pretty much needed to step up. Because if you didn't, you were done. But I mean that's pretty much what they did. And Mitchell McMahon, like we all said, running the ball for 271 was really a good thing. So I mean, I wasn't shocked by the win, but I mean, I thought it'd be won by like 3 points by Pottsboro. So
No comment. I pick one. That's all that matters.
Wow, wow. He said he got the pick correct. That's all that matters. We talked about this being possibly a game we thought might be second and third round just because of the fact that these teams were kind of 1 and 2 in their districts, kind of going to that last week or two, and they both dropped, and it was a good one. I mean, it was a first round slugfest, and unfortunately for them, there's not going to get any easier. Pottsboro's got an interesting matchup. I think they play. Is it Grandview they play next?
ooh,
Yeah, it's going to be a really
ooh.
good game. So, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. All right, game 2 was the game I was at Thursday night. Garrison and Jewett Leon. Guys, this was utter domination from the get-go. Garrison, they've got some dudes. Their offensive line is massive. I mean, I've seen a lot of teams this year play, and to be a 2A Division I team with guys that's like 6'2", 315 pounds. I mean, they had 2 or 3 of those dudes up front. And then the Yarbros they had were impressive. Both Yarbros, one got a pick six and a rushing touchdown. The other one had a rushing touchdown. The Raspberry, the tailback, was impressive. Also Black. They had numerous guys that could tote the rock, and it didn't matter honestly behind the offensive line that Garrison has. They're going to be challenged this week against Beckville because Beckville's got a really good team as well. And I'll be at that game. We'll talk about that a little later, but I wasn't really impressed not seeing Garrison. I mean, I knew coming in that they were a good team because anybody that can play within 9 points of Timpson at full strength as they're going to get this year has to be a pretty good team. But man, they were very impressive in person. I mean, the score was 27-0. We were 6 minutes into the game.
I expected Garrison to win this game, and I'm impressed with Garrison. There, we'll know more about Garrison after this week when they play Beckville. I think this was one of those classic, matchups in the first round that's just kind of unmatched. I mean, Leon's not going to beat Garrison on Leon's best day. Like, Garrison's just the better football team, and that's just how it is. So excited to see this Garrison Beckville game this upcoming week, though. It should be a really, really good one.
And Aaron said he's going to be there.
Who?
Aaron Franks.
Oh, yeah.
He'll be in Longview for that game. I will be there. Maybe I'll see Aaron.
Just so you know, that is in Lobo Stadium, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing with Garrison. I picked them to win 45-7. But I didn't see it. But I didn't know that they were up 27-0 with within 6 minutes of the game starting. That's just that I don't. Leon wasn't. I don't know how good they were, but I mean that was just not. That was not a good way to go out. I mean, listen, I'm not shocked. They do have Beckville, and this is a game that they can lose. Now they're back to reality. Like they could easily lose this game Friday, I think. So I mean, we'll see. It wasn't really shocking to me, but we'll see.
It wasn't a shocker. Garrison's been good. They know how to run the football. Like I said, when the weather changes, you got to be able to run the football and control the clock and eliminate turnovers and get stops. And you can run the ball. I got the beefy offensive lineman, man. They creating lanes. It's going to be rough to stop them. So that's not a surprise.
By the way, before we move on, I did just see a little video of how big. You said Garrison's offensive line was what?
They had several
almost
guys. Yeah, they had several guys that were over 300 pounds. I mean, they got some big boys up front.
Yeah, they need to go to 4A. I know that's not possible, but they need to go to 4A because that's ridiculous. They at least need to go to 4A Division II, which is what
I mean, I've seen some teams that are bigger classifications this year that didn't have the size that the Garrison had up front. So I mean, I was impressed. Yeah. Kyle, you want to answer Eddie's question?
I will be in Athens tomorrow night for the Tenaha Dawson game. That is why I will not be at the Beckville Garrison game. I wish I was at the Beckville Garrison game, but Tenaha Dawson should be a good one too. But yeah, that's why.
All right. Next game was game 3, the game we had on NETSN. You can still go back and watch that one if you want to at any time.
You can see me on the sidelines too.
Hey, did you make cameo on appearance? Could we see you in your red shirt?
I'm sure I stick out like a sore thumb.
Did they stop you at the gate?
No, very much easier to get into Bobcat Stadium in Hallsville than Bulldog Stadium in Chapel Hill, for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Listen, I mean,
they ain't trapping like we are at Chapel Hill.
we're so tough guarded down there. I mean, it's crazy. I mean,
you got to get patted down. We're going to walk in the Bulldog Stadium.
Listen, first at the gate, and you know what? I love her, but first you got to get past Miss Godwin. Oh my God! I mean that's probably rough on anybody to try to get past her. Then you got to get past Miss Helm at the gate to get into the field. Like that's.
Well, good news is Kyle made it in, even wearing those enemy colors. That was what it was. If he'd had some other neutral color,
that's what it was.
If I had I'm sorry, it's called the red zone. I apologize. If I had a different color shirt I could wear to these games, then I wouldn't have got heckled by Brownsboro fans for the whole game. I wouldn't have got stopped in Chapel Hill. So, I wouldn't be looked at weird when I'm in the center's locker room wearing all red when they're playing Van. Like, I mean, it's a bad look for me too. I know it's awkward, but I'm not.
Listen, last year when we went to district title game, when we went to Kilgore and we beat them, we heckled somebody because he was wearing all red and black. He had red and black pants. And we were like, I know that this fool from Kilgore is not in here filming. And then when we walked past him, we realized, it says red zone. Never mind.
See? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, next year, if you come back to Bulldog Stadium, just bring your NETSN lanyard as a backup.
I will have press passes on top of press passes next time I come to Bulldog Stadium. I will
wear black.
I will make sure I follow all the credentials. Yeah, I'll zip up my jacket real tight too. I'll follow all the credentials.
Listen, if they play Carthage next year at home, which is probably not to happen, knowing Carthage, they're probably going to want that in Carthage. I mean, if they play Carthage next year, I think we need literally everybody there, literally. But don't wear red. Just please, God, no, do not wear red.
Aaron makes a good point, though. I'll fit right in at a Carthage Bulldog game. So, thank you, Aaron. I appreciate it. Hey, I'm sure I'll be there at some point.
Hey, yeah, I'm sure next week, if there's a couple of teams that win this week, that might be where you'll be, Kyle. Very, very good chance.
Probably. I hope so. Then I can see Aaron.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So Kyle, you were there. I picked Gilmer in this game. I just thought they had too much for center. You were there. Give us your thoughts. You were right there in the mix. What did you see from both teams?
Athleticism, speed, talent, everything you can hope for in a Texas high school football game. Will Henderson. Will Henderson is a dog. He is good. He is so fast. He was, if I'm correct, I believe he was part of the state championship relay team for Gilmer last year. Like, he is outstanding speed, but it wasn't just him. Like, there was Dervay Smith, a senior, he had 9 carries for 201 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Will Henderson had 206 and 4 touchdowns. Gilmer ran for 510 yards on center Friday night. Same thing that Van
Swiss cheese defense. Yeah.
Same thing that Van did to beat center, and that's been the Achilles heel for center all year. And we know that they're explosive offensively. Imani Cross had a good game, and Caden Dixon had 30 carries, and he got into the end zone. Gilmer just had too much. Also, something I saw Friday night, never seen before, a 1-point safety.
Oh yeah.
So
I'll give you an interesting take on this. Okay.
Okay.
So if any of you that don't know, we have a coaches show with Coach Meeks as center's part of our network. All their stuff, and they do a weekly coaches show. And I got to listen to some of it. So after the refs explained to him, he went over, and it's funny. He's like, "Yeah, I was waiting to see if you're going to give us our point." He had no idea of the rule. But he went over to the referee when they started explaining it and was like, "Yeah, I was going to ask you about." He acted like that, he played right along with it to get the point, but he didn't even know that rule.
I didn't either. It was so weird. So you can go back and watch it on the NETSN broadcast. Go on YouTube and watch it. I don't remember exactly when it was early. It was first quarter, I believe. But either way, center had just scored. So yeah, it was first quarter. Center had just scored. Went to kick the extra point. Gilmer blocked it. Cool. Ball's bouncing around everywhere. Nobody can gain control of it. It squirts all over the place. It eventually rolls just past the goal line, just past the white in the end zone. Well, then Gilmer picks it up. Well, as they do, center tackles him in the end zone. Safety. But since it was an extra point and not a 2-point conversion, it's 1-point safety, not a 2-point safety.
So, and all that to essence, the PAT was good.
PAT was good.
Listen,
Exactly.
I'm not going. Listen, I'm not going back to watching the game because I pretty much got. I watched it on Saturday, and I got to tell you. So before the day before the game, I said that center would probably beat Gilmer 35-28. But if it would be a blowout, it would be probably, if it wasn't that close, it would probably be 42-28 or 21 or whatever. So I got heckled by a whole bunch of Gilmer fans on Instagram that I follow. And after the game was over, I really didn't look at my phone that much, after we got done with the Chapel LCM game. But after the game was over, I had my phone on Do Not Disturb. When I got home, I literally see all these messages, all these messages of, "Hey, we beat center. How do you feel, Blevins? Are you all right? You okay over there?" And so I went back and watched.
Do you have your apology letter for the Gilmer fans?
I'm not apologizing to Gilmer. No, they blew us out 51-27 last year. I'm not doing that. But hey, listen, Chapel Hill, we got them back this year. But anyway, when I went back and I watched the game Saturday, I was just like, that is the last time I'm picking against Gilmer unless they play somebody like Carthage or Chapel Hill or something. I don't know. They're not. If they meet Pleasant Grove, they're not beating them. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. But anyway, Will Henderson. I mean, he was phenomenal.
You have an opportunity. You have an opportunity this week. I'm just giving you a chance. Giving you a chance to change your picks.
Wait, who are they playing? Who are they playing?
You gonna owe a lot of people. Oh, gee, I'm trying to tell you, Lindale's gonna win that game.
No. All right, but let me
right now, please.
Yeah. All right,
let's get on with the show. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Okay, all right, but
I want to host.
But yeah, let me explain something about Will Henderson. I mean, he was pretty good. I mean, I saw this guy run for over 200 yards against Chapel Hill, and then I saw him do it against Lindale. So I mean, that's something that, when I look at that, I'm just like, okay, this group, with Gilmer, they've stepped up. This group was 7-3. I really wasn't feeling the playoff vibe, for them after Chapel Hill, beating 71-53. I was like, maybe they're not as good as we thought they were. But no, they were 7-3 and they got in and they are rolling. They roll past center. And, I think that, who are they playing? Who are they playing this week on Friday?
Sunnyvale.
Oh, they should win that game. They should win that game.
So you got a chance to see a possible Van Gilmer next round game if both teams win.
Again, a rematch from a couple of years ago.
I do think before we go to the next game, I do think that just by looking at it, I think Van has a tougher opponent. Just by looking at it, I think Aubrey's a really good team.
Yeah.
I think Gilmer has an easier game, to me, in my opinion, than Van.
Where's that Van Aubrey game when we played that?
Royce City.
Where's the Van Aubrey game?
Royce City. There you go.
Right near Dallas.
But yeah, Aaron says Gilmer Van would be. I think it really would be a good game. I do think.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got I've seen both teams play against Chapel Hill this year, and they both lost by pretty similar margins. I mean, around the same time of the season. So I feel like that would be a really good game. Van's defense is really good. We've talked about that. Do they have the speed to keep up with those guys like Henry? Could be a good discussion for next week. Just kind of tease in. We could see that. I'd love to see it in person, honestly. But yeah, it could be. There's a couple of possible matchups that we kind of forecast in the future, but they got to get past this week. And
one other thing I want to say about Gilmer is we talked a lot about their defense early on, and how obviously we saw it in week 1, giving up 71 to Chapel Hill. But they struggled defensively early on in the season. Once district play hit, and even last week against Center, like 42 points, I understand that doesn't look like a good defensive game, but most of those yards came in the second half, and points came in the second half when
they made plays when they needed to.
Well, it was 41-14 at halftime. So I mean, the defense played a lot better, and Gilmer's defense has been playing a lot better. So I think the more the defense, and I'm talking to Coach Metzel after the game, he was explaining how early on in the season they had a lot of younger players and they had to move a bunch of people around, but he thinks he's got the pieces where they need to be now. And I would agree with him after watching Friday night. So if Gilmer's defense can start coming back to that black flag defense that they've been playing those state championship years, they're going to be a really, really tough out for anybody they see.
Kyle, let me ask you a question. What about Gilmer and Aubrey? What do you think that matchup would look like?
We could talk about that next week when it happens.
Got to get there first.
That's if it happens. I'm just saying. They're playing Van. So
let's go to game 4. LCM Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill's all over that one, 35-7. Christian, you were there. Tell us what you saw.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and I mean everybody knows this by now, but us Chapel Hill supporters, I think that this is the game that we were looking for to see out of them. They needed to step up on defense. And you know what? A lot of people are going to say, for those who are not Chapel Hill fans, a lot of people are going to say, well, guess what? Their LCM's quarterback was out, and I really don't think that, it was much of a difference. Well, I mean, they had a good running game still. I mean, LCM normally has that almost every single year, but they stepped up when they needed to. I mean, Jabo Cook and Trevor Brooks were all over the place. And then let's talk about offensively. I mean, Brisbane making plays in the rain in the first half. I mean, we saw the only thing that I can compare that to is last year when we played Lumberton. He was throwing dimes in the rain. I mean, he was just throwing darts too. So I mean that was something that I was really I expected the game to be a little bit closer than that. I thought it was going to be something like what it was last time, 32-14 or something like that. But no, I mean Chapel Hill stepped up when they needed to, and Ricky Stewart. I mean, it was his birthday last week. I mean, he had. I mean, what a birthday present to get to have over 200 yards rushing. So, it's it was good to see uh, them play well. I think that um, they play El Campo, who has 10 or 11 starters out, and I think that they're probably going to blow out El Campo, but then the third round, if should Chapel Hill win this game, which I think they should, they will either play Lindale, they will either have a matchup with Lindale again, or they will play Iowa Colony. And Iowa Colony kind of reminds me of Kilgore a little bit. Plus, they're undefeated. So, Corey, I know you're shaking your head, man, but I'm
already
trying
had
to.
this discussion.
They're not even gonna kill.
I'm
They're not even gonna kill
trying to
Kilgore's
tell
level.
you. I'm trying to tell.
They're not on Kilgore's level, though. I'm telling you, they're not. I'm telling you. I've seen like 6 games of theirs. They're not on Kilgore.
Kyle, what do you think about this game, the LCM Chapel Hill? What did you see?
I didn't see much of it, but I mean, I expected Chapel Hill to bounce back and kind of get back on the winning track after the Kilgore game, and that's exactly what they did.
You know what they did, Kyle? The defense heard the CM rant.
They had it on repeat in the locker room.
Yeah, they sure did, and they played pissed
I hope they hear
off.
it this week too.
Well, you said 6
I'm
games in a row, right? You needed to see it 6 games in a row. So
Yep.
They look
You know-
they look good. They looked how they should have against Little Cypress. There'll be a tougher test this week against El Campo. We'll see how they look this week, but I expect them to win this week, and really I don't think it'll be too terribly close.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna go ahead and say, Corey, before you go. I'm gonna say this. For those who haven't seen what I've been saying during the week about this game, this game between them and El Campo is probably going to be close in the first half, and then after that, because I think they're going to succumb to not having any good, like talented, because all 10 of those guys are out. They're going to succumb to that, and then it's probably going to be bad in the second half. I just think that if Ricky Stewart is probably going to have he's probably going to have one heck of a game. I would not be shocked if he rushed for over 300 yards, because I hate to say it, but El Camp, even even like almost 9 or 10 years ago, even when they went to the state championship, and I think they lost to Stephenville, if I'm not mistaken, their defense hasn't been good. Even with Reuben Owens, the 4 years that they had him, they still haven't been good. So we've been used to seeing like say for example when they played Lindale a couple years ago in Baylor, I mean no defense at all whatsoever. I mean Sam Peterson threw I think 2 or 3 interceptions, but I mean as far as that he threw for almost 500 yards. So I wouldn't be shocked if Chapel Hill blew El Campo out. But the other thing I wouldn't be shocked about is if this game was high scoring too.
Right.
I'm gonna say this. So Chapel Hill did what they needed to do against LCM. No disrespect to them. I'm not gonna disrespect anybody. It's in the playoffs. You made it this far. You gotta look at the opponents eye to eye, regardless. Respect the opponent that's in front of you, and it's whatever. I don't care about giving up points. It's about stops. Chapel Hill stomped LCM. They shouldn't allow 7 points, but whatever. We'll take 7. El Campo, don't allow any points. Just hit them when they get off the bus. Don't take that. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to make a statement in the playoffs, make a statement. So, it's another week. You're not 1-0. You're 0-1. This is a different week, different season. This is brand new part of the season, the playoffs. So you're not 1-0.
Got to be 1-0 every single week.
It's 1-0 every single week. Start over. Doesn't matter what you did last week. Get better this week. That's the mindset that they have to take at this point. And it bodes well for them to be underdogs. I mean, you were number one for 4 or 5 weeks, and then all of a sudden you got third place in district. That's cool. I mean, that would make a lot of people nervous in the districts below you that have to play there. Why would this team number one to say, oh well, okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's a leery thing. I don't want to get all too much into El Campo. Like I said, I'm not disrespecting anybody. They're not playing up to the level part of that area, that region hadn't been decent this year. So I'm not going to disrespect them all too much. But I just don't. It's not going to be the same type of matchup. If they compete, they compete. If they don't, knock them out early and get it over with. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's East Texas over everything at this point. Just to be honest with you. So, but it's not. And Eddie's gonna keep giving the stats, and I'm gonna keep throwing it back at him. I don't care about giving up points. Can you stop me from scoring? Can you make the stops when the stops count? I don't think they can. And El Campo hadn't played the competition we played either. So that's not even on the top of it. It's not even anywhere. They ain't played anybody. I'm not saying they ain't played anybody. Let me rephrase it. I don't want to disrespect anybody. They haven't played the competition we played. That's all I'm saying.
Competition level is not equal.
And you know what? Here's the thing. I think this game.
Not at all.
I think this game is technically a 3 seed versus a 4. So
honestly, that goes for anybody in that region. Anybody in that region, pretty much. That it hasn't been as strong as it was in the past.
I mean, when you think about it, the only district in that region that's competitive is District 9. It looks like almost every single year, District 9 is always either in the fourth round or the semifinal.
Well, and right now, District 12 looks good because they got to play the Houston District first round, and that's why they were able to sweep. I said this before we move on. I did a show today with Terry. We did our district show, kind of previewed this region, and my thinking was that District 12 might have dominated the first round, but I think they're all gone after round 2. I think District 12 takes an over, and you have Lumberton along with the 3 9-4A teams left. That's my picks, and because we made a picks this week. That's what I think is going to happen. So the only one I think that's.
Here's the thing. In my opinion, probably the top teams right now is Kilgore, Iowa Colony, Lindale, and Lumberton, and probably Bay City. Who knows? We don't know what them. We saw the video of the head coach and what he said about District 9. But I don't even know what Bay City is. They really don't play a tougher, district than everybody. And then I don't know what Deville is going to be either.
Well, unfortunately for Bay City, they get Kilgore, and
they're done.
It's going to be a tough one for them.
All right, I'm just going. You can't disrespect the opponent like that.
Well, no, I'm not saying they're done. I just they run up into it. That's a tough matchup for them.
I'm just saying. I don't want to call them done. Just anyway, you know what I'm saying.
No, you're good. There's honestly, he disrespected the entire district, so I don't really have too much to.
Cocky last year.
Yeah. All right. Game 5, guys. Speaking of disrespecting somebody, Mount Vernon disrespecting Gladewater all over them, 49-7. Guys, I figured Mount Vernon would win this, but man, they just dominated. They've been really rolling lately. I'd be interested to see if Derek's still with us, if he has any comments on this game. But we kind of talked about Gladewater had been better as of late. They played a tough schedule. Would that tough schedule pay off for them? And Mount Vernon's youth is starting to roll and really click now, and they put up a big win in the first round over Gladewater. What do you guys think about this result?
It was expected. Mount Vernon's a really good football team. Witherspoon had 237 yards on the ground with 4 touchdowns. Cord Johnson through the air, 229 yards passing and a touchdown. So pretty evenly matched offensively, pretty balanced offensively, I should say. 479 yards of total offense. The way we talked about Gladewater, tough opening start to the season with the non-district schedule they played, rattled off a couple of wins in district, but when you look back at the district, it wasn't a very strong district, but wow, Boone Morris 29 tackles. I'll tell you, Boone Morris is a freaking dog on that Mount Vernon defense. He is all over the field. I've been fortunate enough to call a few of his games in the past couple of years, but yeah, it was quite the he is K-State. He's quite the linebacker. But anyway, or end, whatever. He's a great defensive player. He plays on both. Anyway,
you don't want to run at him, is what you're telling me, Kyle.
It doesn't matter if you run at him or not. He'll be around the ball. Doesn't matter. He's it doesn't matter. But
I mean, he does like a one-on-one
they're gonna have a
challenge.
tough test on Friday. But big win over Gladewater, kind of expected. But shout out to Gladewater making the postseason after the 0-6 start. They made the postseason, and congratulations.
Congratulations, Mount Vernon. That's all I have to say.
Oh yeah, MV. I didn't pick them. That was one of the losses. I picked that. I was going for Gladewater, but Mount Vernon they flexing right now, so I was wrong. Shout out to MV.
Yeah, they're flexing right now. They got a tough matchup this week. It was one of our pick'em games. If you didn't catch the show this morning, but they're gonna have to really show up this week to advance any farther. Yeah, and he says, unfortunately, they have a tough draw. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I don't know that you could get a tougher draw there round 2.
And it was no mistake yet. I did misread that quote. My bad.
There you go. You heard it first. Corey apologizes to Eddie. You heard it first right here.
Well, I thought I was wrong.
All right. Game 6. Tatum and Commerce, as Tatum flexes their muscle as they bounce back from that week 11 loss to Atlanta and are all over Commerce, 42-21. I thought this game would be closer, guys. I thought this would be a really good matchup. I know we talked about how Tatum had played a tough schedule and kind of that we were wondering about that last game. I'm more thinking that maybe they just rested some guys, but because they didn't have to have that when they already had district locked up. But they were able to compete against Commerce and ended Commerce's season. Good season though for Commerce at 7-4. They played a really well early. We kind of were like, yeah, is it for real? And they really had a really good season. They competed in a district that was tough. But congratulations to Tatum. No surprise, Tatum and all their athletes that they have on the field are moving on to the next round.
Well, and they played at Eagle Stadium in Lindale, so they were bound to win. So shout out Tatum.
You and those Eagles.
From one Eagle to another.
From one Eagle to another.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think that they had an impressive game, 42-21. But I mean, they got a good test this week. It's basically number 1 versus number 2, if you really want to think about it, because they have Whitney. So, I don't know how that game is going to go, but we'll see. But shout out to Tatum.
You can't disrespect the Tatum Eagles anytime, anywhere. Don't do it. You can't do it. They're like Michigan State in the NCAA tournament. I don't care what their record is. I don't care who they played. I don't care how many times they get beat. Doesn't matter. They get past the first round. Anything can happen for Tatum. That's what it's like.
I thought you were about to say Michigan in football. I was like, please don't. Please.
Michigan, so throw up praise. Everybody likes the Wolverines. The sign stealing, everybody's snitching, everybody's mad because
they just got caught.
It's legal. Everybody's mad because the only people that's pissed off is Ohio State because they're mad they got beat last year and they're crying about it. I'm like,
well, here's the thing. Well, I mean, here's the thing.
Hail to the victors, baby.
That's Brook Hill. That's our school over there, Brook Hill's fight song, man. That's why I get to hear that a lot.
Got that coach up there crying. I'm like, what is that?
Was what?
He was
Does
emotional. It was a big win.
Does Tatum still
cares?
sign?
My God.
No, we're not saying they still sign. Every school
Eddie.
still signs.
That's about. I was about to say every school still signs.
No.
Yeah, if you're watching enough film or tape and you're paying attention, you're still in signs. I promise you.
If you don't change your signs, if you don't change your signs, then you're just asking for someone to steal your signs.
Like the Astros, I mean, they got caught and pretty easily.
No, the Astros were cheating. They had a video camera. That's cheating. If you just watching the signs and picking up on it, that's fair game. But using an electronic device, that's cheating.
And listen,
what they should have done was just recorded the game just like everybody else does.
They had a drone flying up in the air, and everybody thought it was from Fox, and it wasn't.
That's what I'm saying.
The New England Patriots cheated.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, come on, man.
No, New England Patriots cheated. There's no fans whatsoever.
It don't matter what Tom Brady. Tom Brady could have won no matter what they did.
Yeah,
so watch this. So watch this, right? And this is gonna make this quick. So who's the coach that just got fired from the Raiders? What was his name? He was a Patriots backup. Josh McDaniel. Everywhere he went, he was accused of cheating, so to speak. He's always a part of some cheating scandal. He can't win if he can't cheat, right? Exactly. So that's why he's got two jobs. But Eric Bieniemy can't get a coach job.
He's not meant to be. Josh McDaniels is not meant to be a head coach. Have you
Josh
seen his
McDaniels sucked everywhere he's went. Josh McDaniels sucked everywhere. He got one victory over New England when he was in Kansas City,
game,
and that's it.
He has. Wait, no, he doesn't even have a playoff win. I'm sorry. I'm thinking when Tim Tebow threw a 75-yard touchdown to Thomas.
But Eric Bieniemy,
beat the Steelers.
Eric Bieniemy, a two-time Super Bowl champion. Or is it two-time or three-time? I can't remember. Two-time Super Bowl champion. Offensive coordinator. Can't get a head coaching job. Tell me the league ain't messed up. I won't talk about that. Let's keep going.
All right. We'll go to game 7 here. Game I was at Friday night in Bullard as Brook Hill season came to an end as Arlington Grace Prep came to town and got the rematch, and they got revenge as they win 37-13, guys. And man, it was a tough night for Brook Hill. We had the quarterback Cam Ryle out with a concussion in the first. I guess he went out at halftime. I think the concussion actually happened in the first half.
Didn't they hit him in the chin?
I don't even know when the play happened because it was the first half. He played with the concussion. I think they checked him at halftime, and they couldn't read his play. He couldn't read his play thing on his arm, play sheet.
Yeah.
And the starting tailback Braxton Durrett also out with a concussion, and then their backup tailback Carlos Offrey out concussion as well. So they were down to their third string and fourth string tailback. Fourth string back hadn't played really all year on varsity. They were down 10-0 at half. First play of the half because Vince was late. He had a flat tire. He was having a rough Friday. He made it right as we were about to start the second half. He ended up making it. As my man Aaron was our guest commentator, he actually filled in and did a great job. Shout out to my man Aaron Swink. But he first and he was having trouble with his mic. Vince couldn't get his mic to work. We're having a little trouble with it. And the first play out of the box, their star Lehue took off 90-something yards for a touchdown and made it. They missed the extra point, so it was 16-0 right away. But third quarter, the rest of the quarter was all Brook Hill. They had 2 touchdowns in the quarter. My nephew Tyler Vining caught his first varsity touchdown, so that was cool. I got to call that. Made the score 13-16, and just ran out of gas. I mean, they were playing so hard. You had Jonah McCowan come in on his last high school game. He had been benched early in the year, had to come out and play. He was slinging the ball around, had a lot of yards, but they just didn't have that second dimension in the run game. They just you have the the third string back is a pretty good back. He's going to be good. Trey Watley, he's going to be a really good back. He's a freshman, but he just doesn't have that. They didn't have the power back that Durrett and Offrey could bring. Had a couple of short yardage situations and just couldn't move, just couldn't push the pile. And so, but Lee Hugh, man, that kid, he's the one that Jeremy talked about that they'd moved from receiver to quarterback. Oh, super athlete. I mean, he was a difference maker, and they're probably going to have a good chance of winning this week, according to Coach Hubbard, and probably they'll end up getting Dallas Christian here in a couple weeks. But disappointing that the guard season came to an end, but they were in the game. But the score didn't really determine. It kind of got out of hand in the fourth quarter. But shout out to my guard.
So with Brook Hill, they were one of my on my chart. I have it somewhere, but for taps, I got introduced to taps a long time ago when Deion Sanders and his son Shador were at Trinity Christian when they first got there. So I had them actually going to the semifinal. They were kind of like my little sleeper because everybody has to have a sleeper in the playoffs. I don't care if it's high school and college or NFL. Everybody has to have a sleeper. So they were one of my sleepers to go to the semifinal. I didn't think they would go to the state, but I'm just saying they were one of my sleepers to go to the semifinal.
I mean, I didn't get to watch the game, but after how you described it, it was good fight by the guard. And for Coach Hubbard, he gets to focus on round ball now, and his Brook Hill guard ladies are off to
they're taking it out on the opponents too.
Yeah,
putting up some high numbers.
Yeah, they're putting up some big numbers. So it's unfortunate that the season ended, but just as one season ends, another begins. So he has something else to focus his attention on now.
That ad trap game written all over. Beat an opponent before. It is hard to beat an opponent twice in football. Basketball, not so much because you play so often. You know what I'm saying? So you may play an opponent 3 times in 1 year. You never know. Football, man, it's just so much you got to do to prepare. You change lineups, change this, change. It's all kind of stuff in football. So it's very difficult to beat an opponent twice in the same year. And that's exactly what they had. They had trap game written all over it. And those guys came in underdogs. And it's hard to convince a 16, 17-year-old kid that because you beat an opponent once before, that, that opponent's probably going to come out, different this time again. It's hard to convince those guys of that. You know what I'm saying? So naturally they're going to be confident and cocky. If you don't come out playing hard, you may get beat again. So I think they had just a little bit to it. And, and I'm pretty sure the coaching staff was kind of leery about that as well going in. All it takes is just a slight bit of comfort, and then boom, there you go, and you lose it, and now you're down by 10 points, and now you're trying to make up from what that ground is. It's like, well, how come we can't beat these guys like we beat them before? That team's not the same. It's like I always say before, it doesn't matter what you've done, week 1 or week 2. It matters how you've gotten better in week, 13. So that week 13 team is different than that week 2 team. So it's big. It's a big difference. So, but shout out to Brook Hill on a great season, and hope they can rebound.
Yeah, Brook Hill will be moving up classifications. They've already realigned and taps, and that's been finalized. And so it's going to be an interesting schedule for Brook Hill. They've got 3 teams from Austin will be in their district next year. Yeah, yeah, and a couple of teams from Dallas, and they'll be back
that's crazy.
In the same district with crosstown rival Grace Community. So that'll be a really good game. They've been playing it, but now it'll be for a district game. There's 7 teams in the district now, so they'll have a little bit bigger district schedule. This year they only had 3 district games.
That's like the Big Ten schedule. We got a game in Wisconsin, and next week we got a game in Southern California.
Yeah, I've already informed Coach Hubbard that I'm going to need a travel budget if I'm going to follow the guard next year. I may need not just travel. I might need a travel and a stay budget. I might be having to stay the night.
You need a travel sponsor.
Yeah, hey,
Right.
Expedia or
Somebody.
Hertz or something. Somebody's
And
got
Motel 6, they'll leave the light on for you.
Man, how about the Hyatt or the Regency or something a little nicer?
Ain't nothing wrong with Motel 6.
Wow.
There ain't nothing wrong, but
Ain't nothing wrong with
there ain't nothing
Motel
wrong
6.
with a free
I
Say
don't know.
Hyatt or
What-
Regency.
I don't know what you
He said-
guys are talking about, but guess what? There is something wrong with the Motel 6.
Nah, man. Nah.
Listen, okay.
Once you get a certain age, the Motel 6 is like, nah. Listen, we're not. This isn't spring break. We're not staying in Motel 6.
I understand what
it's
you're
in
saying,
college
but I'm
spring
saying
break.
in a pinch, it'll do in a pinch. If there ain't nothing else around,
yeah.
Hey, you know
you got
what?
a Motel 6. It's
gonna-
not the worst option.
I'm gonna give y'all a quick story and I'm gonna move on. Okay, so I used to be over the AYSA basketball program in ARP. I was the president of the basketball league, and so we had a team that advanced to the national tournament. It was out west Texas. I can't even remember where it was. I think Levelland. I don't know. It was way far off. So I drove all the way out there by myself to attend because they were one of my teams. I wanted to go support them. I got there and there was not a room available in the whole city. So I drove back 20 minutes and found a spot. It looked like one of those rooms that you see on CSI or NCIS that there's a murder scene or whatever. It's one of those 1 story out the room you just open up that you can maybe rent by the hour for certain activities. But it was I didn't even get under the covers, man. I mean, I literally slept on top. It was like, and I'm not really a germaphobe, but the shower was gross. I probably stunk, but I didn't care. I wasn't getting in that shower, man. I think some kind of fungus or something. So in all essence, it doesn't, sometimes it's worth paying a little extra to not have to worry about that kind of thing. Christian, you'll learn this. It's Motel 6 is okay, but
listen,
pay an extra $50 in some place I know has been cleaned and it's been disinfected. And
listen, I'll go to a small Holiday Inn than going to a freaking Motel 6 because I've already been to a Motel 6 before and it's horrible.
Listen, not all of them are built the same though. It's
It's
about
not.
it's the location
not all
that it's
Hotel
in.
6s are built the same.
Okay, well, here's the thing.
Like
It's not. So I actually stayed in one in Longview. That was the only time I ever went, and it was bad.
Well, there you go.
It was
there you go.
Okay, so and then don't stay in La Quinta in Mesquite, by the way. It's
La Quinta's are all right too.
it usually is. Not the one in
It
Mesquite.
normally is.
There were stains on a lot of places that should have been stains on stuff.
But listen, here's the thing. I'm not gonna. It depends on. It depends on how long you're gonna be staying there. Like if I'm just going for a night, I just need a place to lay my head at night. I'll pop into a Motel 6. Sure, I just need to lay my head down. But if I'm gonna be staying 2 or 3 days, then yeah, we're going Hilton or something. We're going nice.
Well, you still got to lay your head on something. It needs to be clean.
I will say this: it was bad in college. We went to it was a 2-game conference road trip, and we ended up playing Natchitoches. Not Natchitoches. We went from Natchitoches to Thibodeau, and I don't know if y'all know what Thibodeau is. It's the bottom, right? It's probably close you can get to wherever. So it's like 9:00 at night. We just had a shoot around. Everybody's going back, and we get to the hotel. It's pitch black, whatever. And it's a Howard Johnson, right? Now, mind you, this is what 2006. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's tired. We go into the rooms. We get our keys, go into the rooms, and most of the time, everybody's got flat screen TVs, right? These are still tube TVs. Tube TVs. Remote controls have got Velcro on them. You can't, move too much, and the beds are kind of leaning a little bit. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, no, like, don't get me wrong. Thibodeau's Nickel State. If you don't know what Thibodeau is, it's got Nickel State University. And I'm like, it's pitch black. And I'm like, listen, dude, I got stuff I got to do. So I had to walk from the Howard Johnson to the Walgreens in town. Now, mind you, I'm walking. It's pitch black at night. I get what I needed from the Walgreens, go back. The next day I woke up. right? I did not know I crossed the bayou. And it's like, it's pitch black. I'm like, where are we staying? Like, what town is it? I had the worst experience. Like, from that point on, I'm like, I'm not walking at night.
Y'all ever seen the movie Vacation?
Absolutely. I saw the original.
All right. Well, since we're off, we kind of got off on vacation here.
Sorry.
Best Westerns aren't bad either. Marriott's are good though.
Hey,
Marriott's.
Hey, the bed bugs though, Kyle. Did you see this one?
I saw that.
says-
Look,
Yeah.
I can attest. I've stayed in many a Motel 6 in my day, and I ain't got no bed bugs from no Motel 6. So I don't know which one you're staying at, Jake.
Right.
You need to go. You need to go in some more Motel 6s because yeah.
No, I don't. See, that's the thing. You can't overdo a Motel 6. It's a necessity. That's by necessity. Like I have to stay at a Motel 6. If I don't have to, I won't. But I'm just saying there are worse hotels out there in a Motel 6.
I know.
Hey,
I've
go
stayed,
to the-
I've stayed at one. That one I just said. Yeah, that was
I was saying.
just question for Christian. Christian's otherwise occupied. He will be in spring. I don't know who that is. Bump TY5X. We'll talk about that one towards the end of the show where we'll all be. Game 8, guys. Maybe the game of the week. Ty Barsley, 25-yard field goal for the ARP Tigers to get their first playoff win in some time. Kyle, you may have a stat for me. I don't know if you have that kind of information, but I know it's been a while since ARP's made the playoffs. Can't remember the last win, but first win in the playoffs for head coach Wes Minke and the ARP Tigers. Guys, this was one of the ones I missed. I missed this one, the Brookhill pick. I had DeKalb, but I was going for my ARP Tigers. Like I was not mad about missing this pick. Honestly, I'm proud of them. I think they're really playing well right now. I actually get to see them play. We'll talk about that here after a while, but this was a good game, good win for Coach Minke and the Tigers. I mean, we all kind of talked about, we thought DeKalb was a little bit better, but it'd be a good game. And was it a good game? Overtime win. I mean, you can't beat that in the playoffs. A walk-off field goal to win. I mean, that's something those kids will never forget.
That's a big win too. And the fear you have in these games is when you have a big walk-off win like that is a letdown coming into the next game. You don't want to, I mean, it's so hard to get that same energy that you had at the end of that DeKalb game going into the Harmony game. Now I know Coach Minke will get them right, get their mind right, and have them focus for the game. But that's just something you always fear. Like, yes, it's cool to remember the Minnesota Miracle when Stephon Diggs the next week they went out in Philly and laid an egg. So you just kind of worry about getting those walk-off wins like that, about the next week there being a letdown. But with it being the playoffs and it's Texas high school football, I don't think we'll necessarily see that because these kids will be ready to make a name on Friday night.
First off, please don't bring up that game because that one was a heartbreaker for me, and I'm not even a Saints fan. Well, I mean, I'm just be honest with you. I mean, listen, I had the Saints going to Super Bowl. I wanted to see them and the Patriots, and I wanted to see Brady and Breeze play, but that didn't happen.
You know who won that Super Bowl? You know who that won that Super Bowl?
The Eagles.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember. I just wanted to know if anybody else knew. Got you.
That's how you know the NFL was rigged.
I'm sure you didn't remember. I'm sure.
Philly special.
Who wasn't in the Super Bowl?
We're gonna run a Philly special on the 1 yard line. That's just awesome. You know,
it worked, didn't it?
It worked.
He got himself a statue because of it.
And you know what? Nick
Right,
Foles,
and they fired everybody 2 years later.
Hey, man.
Yeah, and Nick Foles threw for 505 yards, and Brady threw for 543. So I mean,
we got to stop at the end when we needed it, though. Shout out Brandon Graham. We got to stop when we needed it. Anyway, sorry. Continue.
Yeah. So I actually, if the picks would have went through for me, I actually would have been 8-2 because I picked DeKalb to win, and they didn't. They disappointed me, and now I'm upset and that's kind of where I'm at with it. I just, I didn't even know. I thought that ARP won. Sorry, I thought that decap won, but I didn't think that that happened. So, yeah, congratulations, ARP.
ARP, don't go get some
Smink
tiger.
Dog.
You ain't gotta sound so down
Smink
about it,
Dog
Christian.
with the
Well,
dub, baby.
Listen, I love Coach Meek, but you know what? Nope.
It's like he lost his cat or something. I don't know what he.
Schmink Dog with the dub, baby. You know what it is. He bleed blue and gold. That's what's happening. Schmink Dog with the dub. I'm robbing Schmink Dog this week too. All day, every day. Let's go.
Wait a minute,
Man, I got to see Art play Grand Saline, and man, they've got some weapons. Zane Bork, we all saw the great play he made against Grand Saline. Frank Smith, the 4-year starter at quarterback. And they've got a combo of running backs. Of course, Smith kind of their mainstay. He carries the ball a lot as well. So, I mean, you look at some of the numbers they've got. They've got a lot of guys carrying the ball. I mean, you've got Bergens has come back from injury. He's missed some games and he's back. He's averaging 6.1 yards a carry. The quarterback Smith's averaging 8.2. Yarbrough 6.2. Reed 6.7. Got a lot of guys averaging a lot of yards per carry. When you average in that much per carry, the season they're averaging 7 yards a carry on the ground. That's a pretty good stat. I mean, if you're able to produce 7 yards every time you run the ball, that's pretty good. So I think it's
I'm
gonna be tough though, man.
I'm not picking ARP this week. They got Harmony. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry, Coach Meek. I'm not doing it.
Well, you didn't pick anybody last week, Christian, because you didn't submit your picks.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not.
You should get on that.
I was trying to hold him up a little bit. I'm like, man, you gotta have it somewhere. You gotta get on.
You got to get on this NETSN app. It's on your device, and you go this tab. It's like pick 'em, and then you hit the submit button. You can go and do that right now. So we don't have to hear you cry next week. Oh, how would it went 10-0, but I didn't submit my picks. Oh no!
Do the opposite of Herm Edwards. Press send. Don't
you
playing
to win the game.
Yeah, his favorite line is "Don't press send." No, press send. Press
yeah,
no.
But it's like I said, it's going to be interesting. We talked a little bit about that Art Harmony game this morning, so go check that show out from this morning if you didn't get to. Moving on to game 9, Lumberton and Athens. Athens season was ended, even though I think preseason we didn't really mention Athens much in the conversation of making the playoffs, but they were able to get in. But they took the L to Lumberton 40-14, the only District 9 team to lose. But they lost to a good Lumberton team, a team that's got their quarterback back and healthy. They played kind of, I guess, a little sluggish early without him, but he's back now, and Lumberton seems to be rolling, and they're going to have a tough contest against Needville in this round 2. It's going to be an interesting matchup there. I think Lumberton will win, but should be a pretty good game. I'm not surprised by this. I thought Athens would stay with them for a little bit. I thought the only way Athens could win this game is if Lumberton made mistakes and kind of let them stay in it. I think that didn't happen. So Lumberton takes it 40-14. Guys, what do you think about this?
Expected it. I think, Athens got into the playoffs, and congratulations to them, but they were so up and down all season long. Just not really consistent. And so when you play a good team like Lumberton, it's whether it's hit or miss. And unfortunately for Athens, came up as a miss last week.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. They weren't in the game at all. I mean, when I looked at the score, it was 27-7. So they just I don't know. At some point, and I'm going to be honest with you, and this is no disrespect to Athens, but they're going to have to fix their passing game, because we saw from them exactly what we saw when they played Chapel Hill. They would literally go for it in their own territory. And I think at one point when they were playing Lumberton, I think at one point they went for it on the 10-yard line in their territory. So you can laugh. You can laugh. You can go ahead and do it.
What I tell y'all about being disrespectful?
I'm just saying, like, I don't know how do you even do that? I mean, that's not even. You have to fix your passing game. You got to tell your receivers, hey, if we're gonna run like 10-yard out routes, run them deep. Okay, run them deep enough to where you can catch it inbounds, and you're gonna be fine. But godly, they just go for it whenever they see fit, and they act like Lumberton, who before last year wasn't even in the thought of anybody. I mean, the last time they had made it past the second round was 2007 when they were. I forgot what their record was in 2007, but because I was 2 years old. So, but that's what I heard last year.
Oh,
the last time. I'm sorry. I was 2 years old. I was 2 years old. I was watching Valley Sports last year after we beat them in New Caney. They said that they have not been past the second round since 2007. So, but I mean, but all aside from the past, we're talking about now. We're talking about how just Athens just absolutely they blew it. So I mean, they got it. They got a tough matchup against Neville. They're playing in Katy, which is a beautiful and nice stadium, on Friday. So, I mean, we'll see. But Athens blew it. So,
y'all know I wasn't rocking with Athens no way. So, well, I'm sorry, I wasn't rocking with Athens anyway. Let me, say that better. No, they were being disrespectful. And look what happens. Look what happens when you be disrespectful. You don't punt the football? Okay, we're running on the 10. Like, really? I know it's a game plan. It worked. It was 7-3
literally, it was
on the year,
4th and 8.
or
It
6-4.
was 4th and 8.
But it's I guess that's a game plan. I don't know if they're doing analytics in Athens or what. I don't know. It's just,
I don't know any
whoever's
analytics.
doing that. Yeah, whoever's doing the analytics on that, this ain't Madden. This ain't Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, it's not Madden. It's not Madden, and
yeah,
you dang sure can't do it in NCAA either. So
yeah, I don't know. That's silly. But nonetheless, they eventually end up getting beat. Like I said, you can't be disrespectful. After a while, it becomes disrespectful. I understand it's a strategy, but after a while, it's like, no, you don't. You don't do that. That's disrespectful. But nonetheless, I don't know. I wasn't picking Athens. No disrespect to them. I don't want to do that. But
and
Lumberton's gonna beat them.
And here's the thing, Brett. Before I pass to you, here's the thing that I get it with Athens. It's just like, oh, they were feeling themselves a little bit because hey, they beat Palestine. And beat them very convincingly, and then get into the playoffs and everything. I understand that, but you didn't did that against not one, not two, but three top teams in Region 3. All right, you did it against Kilgore they almost beat Kilgore. Let's not forget that. They almost beat Kilgore. But what cost them is what they were doing against Chapel Hill and Lumberton. Then you were with Chapel Hill for a little bit, and then their defense, we already know what their defense was. They stepped up. And then you do it again, but this time against Lumberton, that was a little bit worse. So it's like I don't get it, but yeah, we can move on.
All right, game 10. Van over Spring Hill, 63-34. I honestly thought this would be a bigger blowout than this. I just thought, shout out to Spring Hill. They made the playoffs as a 3 seed, no less. Unfortunately, they got Van. I think the only thing that could have been worse is they had Carthage, but they still played a tough Van team, and Van dismantled them. 34 points. I'm surprised. I don't know if that came against some some backups. I wasn't there to see it, so I'm not sure. But Van moves on. Spring Hill does not. Shout out to Spring Hill. Great season. But looking forward to seeing what Van does in the next few weeks.
Expected it. I mean, Van's a good football team. I'm happy they were able to bounce back after a couple of tough losses to Carthage and Bullard. They had 10 possessions Friday night, scored a touchdown on 9 of them, the 10th one being a kneel down at the end of the game. So perfect on their offensive possessions. I'm like you. I'm not sure where those 34 points came from. I'm not sure if it happened, during the first half or in the second half, but either way, Van got a big win, and they will have to play some good football Friday night to beat Aubrey.
I mean, for Van, I mean, this wasn't really a shocker. So, I mean, it was a good bounce back after those tough losses that they had in district. But I mean, it was a good win.
Yeah, Van was gonna win this game regardless. I don't want to say they look forward to their opponent, but Aubrey's. I know the defensive tackle over there at Aubrey. X-Man, he's my nephew's and best friend. So hopefully they can. I'm kind of, I don't. Obviously, I'm going for Aubrey, but I think Van's gonna win. I want
Watch
to
your
see that. I
mouth,
want to
Corey.
see X-Man
Watch
have
your
Well,
mouth.
success. Hey man,
well, I mean,
hey man, I've known this
Wow.
kid since he was like
hey,
6. So I
listen,
mean,
Corey, Corey's
you
nuts,
know,
and it's his new theory. Do not go
I
against
mean,
someone that he knows a person on that team. He will not go against them,
I want to see them. I
well,
want to see them have
well, hey,
success. I want to see
even
them
if
have
it's against any
success.
Texas team.
I mean, well, hey, look, the other
What's
thing
wrong
is
with that, man?
Aubrey does have a good defense, and they are a 1 seed. They were a 1 seed in their district. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they won this game either. I think
No,
Van's going to win.
the 1 seed doesn't necessarily matter. Look at the 1 seed in Van's district. Van probably would have been a 1 seed if they were in Aubrey's district too. I mean, is anybody going to be a 1 seed
They're
if you're in
just
the district with Carthage? I mean,
no,
maybe
unless you're
PG.
Kilgore.
Maybe
Yeah,
PG, and that's still debatable. We'll see that maybe next week. Since that's the end of the pick'em, guys, I'm going to kind of go through, since it's playoffs, there are no polls. Let's just go down through this list of games and just kind of go over the results, some of them, and we can discuss some of them. Some of them don't need much, discussing. We got Carthage wins 42-0. I mean, none of us are surprised about that. Beckville 41-0 over Alba Golden. Alba Golden, another solid start to the year, played really hard, but then they just got in the district schedule and playoffs and just, still a winning record for them. So shout out to them. Lindale 49-28 over Vider. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. I mean, Vider put up a good fight, but Lindale's going to give up points. Their defense is not ever going to be, stellar knockout, putting up zeros, but their offense is good enough to score with most people. This one was a little surprising to me. West Rusk 33-14 over Redwater. I kind of thought West Rusk might beat them by a little more. We had discussions this year over Redwater. I know Jeremy wasn't impressed with them early, so I was surprised that West Rusk didn't win by more. I mean, they got the win, so Cooper 61-0 over Frankston. Cooper continues to roll. Malakoff 49-0. There's a lot of just blowouts. Winsboro 30-14. Atlanta stayed with Winsboro. I mean, that's not bad for Atlanta. I mean, they kind of started the year a little rough, but they beat Tatum, finished off, but then they got stuck with Winsboro round one, kind of a tough one to match up against. Got Newton 69-12 over Queen City. You know how good Newton is. We had Honey Grove, which another shutout for Honey Grove. They're 9-1, 47-0. Yeah. And Carlisle put up a fight. 30-14. They lost to Lovelady. Lovelady undefeated, 11-0. But Carlisle put up a good fight. Any of those Thursday
The game
night
was
games?
a lot closer. Yeah, the game was a lot closer than that score would indicate.
Carlisle was with them. Yeah. Any of those games that you guys that I just went through as a Thursday night that stick out to you?
Okay, so I am gonna say Lindell and Vire, but the one thing I hate that Liberty Hollow's head coach. I hate that they parted ways with him. I really do. I mean, I mean, they really didn't deserve to go out like that. But I hate that that happened to them. But I mean, it's Carthage. I mean, they're gonna whoop everybody pretty much, except for probably PG and, like I said, Glen Rose. But Lindell and Viter, to be honest with you, I expected that game to be a little bit worse than what that score indicated. Because, I mean, although, oh wait, he retired, Eddie?
Eddie would probably know because he's up there in that area.
I thought it said they mutually agreed to part ways, which is basic. I mean, that's could be basically retirement.
They gave him an ultimatum. Yeah, they gave him an ultimatum.
But I mean, Lindell and Viter, that game was kind of. I thought it was going to be worse because Viter. You remember a couple of years ago they played Chapel Hill and their offense was kind of explosive. I remember they were ranked. Viter was ranked, I think, 10 or 9 in the state at the time, but their offense is just not that good this year, to be honest with you. So, I mean, I'm not really shocked about that, but I am shocked that it wasn't as bad as it should have been.
All right. Kyle, what games stuck out to you or games? Any of those stick out?
Not really. I mean, I guess the West Rusk one was kind of interesting because that one was a little closer than I expected, and Atlanta hanging with Winsboro early on, but the better teams pulled away at the end, I think.
Corey?
Yeah.
All those Thursday games, those games that played early last week, they were all blowouts of good games. Honestly, I was more impressed with Lindale. I thought Lindale played very well. I mean, they threw the football, they ran the football. I was very impressed with Lindale. Who else? I'm gonna give a shout out to Shine Tree. We hadn't said much. They did make the playoffs. So shout out to Pine Tree, hashtag Shine Tree. I hope y'all use that next year. Whatever do. They made the playoffs. We didn't put any games on there, no pick'ems at all for them, but that's okay. The disrespect was not televised, but it's okay. I'm proud of you guys. I was rocking with y'all all year long. I just didn't know what Pine Tree team was gonna show up. But you made it, you gutted it out, you got it through. I picked.
Was it really all year long though, Corey? Because I think you were up and down.
I was rocking with them all year long, man. I was like, I was hoping for success.
Well, guess what?
I was really hoping for success. Nobody else was checking for him. Nobody else.
I need to go back and listen because I think you were on the whole little roller coaster with us.
He was,
but I didn't disrespect him. I just didn't know what Pine Tree team was going to show up.
So you picked them every week.
I wasn't criticizing them. I just didn't know what Pine Tree team was going to show up. But I did say early. What did I say? I said I think Pine Tree can make the playoffs. And what did you say, Brett? What did you say? Did you agree with me? No, you said if Pine Tree makes the playoff, you would do what? You would do what?
What?
You would apologize. You say, you know what? I'll apologize. He did say that. He did say that, Kyle.
I just said they lost me a lot of games. They put me on a roller coaster that I rode all season long.
They were inconsistent,
and it was a great ride. It was a great ride.
It was
very inconsistent. It was a great ride. But you know what?
It was a not good ride for my pick'ems. My pick'ems did not do well on this roller coaster, Corey.
Nobody picked Shine Tree to beat Texas High in the last game of the season, but you know what they did? I didn't even pick them. I was like, they better not beat Texas. And they beat Texas.
You didn't disrespect them. You didn't pick them, Corey. How are you going to get on me when you didn't even?
But I've been rocking with them all year. That's what I'm saying. I've been hyping them kids up all year, man.
You picked them. You picked them to be 10.
Nobody thought they were going to win. I didn't say it was going to be 10. I didn't say it was going to be 10. I never said it was going to be 10.
I'm out of this conversation, man.
Eddie,
Listen,
hey, look. Eddie said it's a trap game.
That was not a trap game. That was not a trap game at all whatsoever. That was not a trap game.
All right. I'm gonna go over some of these Friday games and we'll see if there's Pleasant Grove and Eddie and company took care of business 61-7 over Rusk. Shout out to our Rusk Eagles, one of our NETSN schools. Legacy kept it close, but couldn't quite pull it out in Wiley. It's 23-14. Kilgore all over Livingston 49-8. Grace Community continues their season over there as another one of our private schools in this area, 33-28, as they get a big first round win. Busting them boys all over Corrigan Camden, 68-7. Palestine Westwood got the win. They continue on. We kind of haven't talked about them, but they're weird. It's weird because they're kind of a region separated from the rest of the East Texas teams in their classification. So they kind of get left out a little bit sometimes. We apologize. Palestine Westwood moving on to the next round. Tenaha 52-12 over Hull Deseta, I guess is how you say it. You got Deweyville with a 28-26 win over Mount Enterprise. Longview all over New Caney Porter 59-7. Marshall gets a win in the first round as they hosted the game with that big win. They got the big win over White House, and it got them a home game, and they got the win over Denison 28-20. Overton Mustangs got a playoff win. Man, we're gonna clap that one up. The Overton Mustangs. I know they got a tough matchup this coming week, but shout out to them. They moved their record to 10-1 this season. They win 40-9 over Evadale. In a defensive battle, the New Diana Eagles win 6-0 over Anderson Shiro. Maybe the upset of the week to me, New Boston over Troop 50-43. We talked about Harmony and ARP a second ago. Harmony with the win over Hemphill 55-12. Wolf City over Harleton 48-14. Sulphur Springs out in round one. Dallas Carter over Sulphur Springs, a little bit of a shocker to me.
Out of here.
41-35. Hooks played basketball with Edgewood, 92-57. Interesting score there as Corey's Shine Tree team goes down to Lovejoy, 34-6. Dangerfield all over New Waverly, 48-0. Texas High took care of business. White House Melissa took care of White House, ended their season. Guys, there was some really in this Friday group. There was some shocking ones to me. I mentioned a few of them. Do you guys agree? You have some other ones.
So I'm gonna be honest. Longview and New Caney Porter, I thought that game was gonna be close. Because if you look at, I know y'all don't look pretty much in that 5A area in Houston, but New Caney Porter has a really, really good defense, and Longview just absolutely made them look like they were absolutely nothing. And then the Wiley East game in Legacy. Here's what I'm very shocked about. It was tied 14-14. Legacy made it 14-14. I was like, oh, they actually may win this game. And then Wiley East just wore them down with the running game. Now, I will say this about Legacy, and for anybody who's from Legacy that's watching, I didn't want to say this, but I was actually kind of hoping that y'all would lose, because if y'all did win, y'all probably would have met the angry DeSoto Eagles. And that just wouldn't have been fun I said DeSoto was going to repeat after they beat Duncanville. And I said probably the only team that would beat them was Katy. So, but I don't even think Katy could beat DeSoto. So they were going out anyway this week had they won.
All right, Kyle, what you think?
Shout out to Overton, man. Shout out to Overton. They got a big win. I'm happy to see them get the dub. Yeah, there were some good games on Friday night. A lot better than the Thursday night games, I think. But I think this by district round, it's it's hit or miss. You know, you'll get some good games, you'll get some games that are just absolute snooze fests. I think we saw a lot more of those than the close ones, but there were some good games this week. But this upcoming week, with the area round, the cream's starting to rise to the top here, and so we're going to start seeing some better games. So I'm really excited for this upcoming week.
Corey?
Yeah, Overtown. Yeah, Overtown for sure.
Were y'all shocked with the Troop one as I was?
Yeah.
I
A
mean,
little shocking.
the first round. I mean, I knew Troop wasn't as strong as what maybe we thought they were earlier in the year. Kind of were questioning the schedule, and West Russ beat them. But I just didn't think that they would lose to New Boston first round. That was probably one of the biggest shocks to me of the whole weekend. Them going out round one. We were talking about them a few weeks ago being ranked in the top 10 of the state, and they're already done after one round. I just didn't think that was going to happen.
I mean, well, here's the thing. It really doesn't. First round, really, in all seriousness, first teams that are like a 1 or a 2 seed really doesn't shock me going out in the first round, because I saw Lufkin, in 2016 go out to then call John Tyler 50 to 49 at Rose Stadium in the first round. So I mean that's not really a shocker.
So the ARP Tigers are still in, and the Troop Tigers are out.
Yep.
It's interesting. Who would never have thought that 5 or 6 weeks ago. All right, so got those out of the way. Let's go over where everyone's going to be this week. Kyle, where are you going to be at?
Tomorrow night, I'll be in Athens at Bruce Field for the Tenaha and Dawson matchup. And then on Friday night, our final Red Zone game of the week this season, I'll be at Rose Stadium in Tyler for the Malakoff Mount Vernon game. So look forward to both those. I think the Malakoff game, I'm excited to see Malakoff. Haven't been able to see them all year, and we've been talking about them all season. So I'm really excited to get to see Malakoff finally and see what kind of fight Mount Vernon could put up. Ready to see Boone Morris out there. I'm sure he'll have 30 tackles, so he'll be all over the place. But I'm really looking forward to that game.
Christian, where are you going to be this week?
So I am going to be in Spring, Texas. That is the suburbs of Houston, Texas. And we will be, me, Keith Whitman, and Claire Puckett will be calling that game between Chapel Hill and El Campo. That should be a good game, at least for a little bit, and taken to the woodshed type of moment. But I will say this: the one game that I won't be at, but I think that will be interesting, and I've been talking about them on my Twitter lately. China Spring and Anna. China Spring and Anna. And you know what? I didn't want to say this because I know some people from China Spring, but I think they're done. I think they're done. I just don't think.
Absolutes about everybody.
They're done.
Well, no, they're done.
Yeah, they're not going to win
because they're not. Listen, the winner.
We get some Christian memes. You're done.
Well, I mean,
you're done.
You better listen. That folder you have, you better crack them knuckles. You got a lot of apologies to write. Start with me. I want one Saturday. Okay. You better believe I want one.
So here's the thing. So right now, I don't see them going to the fourth round, and if they do, they'll have to meet Stephenville. So, and plus they got whooped by Stephenville early this year. So yeah, they're not. I don't see them winning this game Friday, and they're not favored either. I think Eddie told me that earlier this week. They are not favored at all. So
Eddie's got the stats. He is the stat guy. So he'll have a stat for you. Corey, what you gonna be doing? Are you gonna be hanging at the house trying to pick some games to watch? You gonna go out to one? What you got going Friday?
I'm a hang out. I mean, we got round ball season coming up, so we're cracking our knuckles and getting my voice ready. Me, all that good stuff, and we got round ball coming up, and so as as the teams lose, it's just it gets closer and closer to basketball season. So y'all want to hear this nice, soft, nice, whatever type of voice, whatever I got. Hey, basketball season's coming up, man. We got some good stuff. Got basketball tournaments to cover. You know
Man,
what I'm
you're
saying?
man,
I'm ready
you're
for it, man.
stealing.
Ready
I had
for it.
it down to talk about, and you're stealing my thunder, Corey. Gosh,
I didn't
Well,
take
hopefully,
anything, man. The
it's okay.
weather's still misty outside. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, it's okay. I'm just
A
giving you a hard time.
little
I
sprinkle.
do. I do have some more to talk about that here in just a minute. Where I will be Thursday night. It will be me, Vincent Johnson, as Vincent has the night off tonight, and our man Spence is going to join us in the booth, the 3-man booth, to call Beckville and Garrison, one of the best games around in this area, I think, honestly, of any of the games, as far as just two teams that are really good. Should be a really good one over there at Lobo Stadium. First time to call a game at Lobo Stadium. So I'm excited. And then Friday night, I'll be with Jeremy Hubbard will be joining me in the booth, and we'll be calling the ARP Harmony game. As Kyle showed by your shirt there. There you go. ARP Harmony. And so I think that's going to be another good one. I think Harmony has the advantage. I think if they play well, they'll win. But man, them ARP Tigers, they don't quit. So it's going to be a good one, I think, as well. That'll be in Hallsville. That's where I'll
Gotta
be.
say it with the hard R. Harmony.
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 And so,
yeah, cousin from Boston.
Talking about that, I want
from Boston
to kind of give everybody an idea of where what games we've got going on. So we're doing a lot of games. There won't be any football games on NETSN this week. They'll all be on NFHS. We'll have our NFHS broadcast will be on the Beckville Garrison game on Thursday. Also the ARP Harmony game. We also have the Timpson Wolf City game. Our friends from down south and center, our center crew, one of their crews is going to be there. And they're also going to be over in Bullard for the Cooper Shelbyville game. So those will be all our broadcasts. And of course, Christian mentioned the Texan Live NFHS broadcast of the Chapel Hill game. So we'll have 5 total games produced by NETSN over the weekend. So make sure you go check those out. I'll be sharing those out on social media. And as Corey mentioned, NETSN games coming up. We've got hoops starting next week. I've got a few games on tap next week. We haven't put them on the YouTube channel, just trying to make we're getting them confirmed. But basketball season is coming. We've got he mentioned. I'm already starting to get the Brook Hill tournament lined out, where the Brook Hill Invitational will be fully covered by NETSN. We'll be over there all day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for some good hoops, boys and girls. So we have those already up. And all our stuff will be kind of going up as we confirm the games. And so that football season's kind of transitioning. We'll be covering, as long as they'll keep letting us go to games there in football, we'll keep broadcasting. But basketball season is coming. And heard some rumor that we might be able to get this Kyle guy in the booth, maybe some more of this upcoming basketball season. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, we're broadcasting from the. Well, can't say that yet, can I? Never mind.
Well, we haven't put that out yet, but we've got some big broadcasts coming up for sure.
I'll be on that one though, for sure,
and possibly some more. We're going to try to see if we can get Kyle's schedule. I know he wants to put the headset back on. We got him out for volleyball, and he kind of scratched that itch a little bit.
Lay up some free throws. Christian, you gonna do some basketball? What's up?
I hope so. I hopefully I don't have to experience what I saw last year when Chapel played Bullard, an over the back foul that shouldn't even been called. And that, yeah, you were there. Both of y'all were there.
We weren't. If it was last year, we weren't there.
Yeah, it wasn't last year.
I'm trying to figure out when was that, because Cameron Kelly had a over the back foul that they called when they played Bullard, and I don't think that was a foul.
Well, they weren't in district together last year. It could have been the year before.
Okay, so yeah,
the only time they played last year was in the Whataburger tournament. Corey and I did that watch along on there. So, but yeah, lots of things coming up on the network, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. I mean, I'm excited about this weekend of football. I mean, there's just so many good games. And then the intriguing part is just the matchups that could be the following week. I mean, there's just so many good games that are coming up. And we'll have to just wait and see how the matchups fall. But Eddie says NFHS is a
choices. I don't know if I have any time.
Look, NFHS is a rip. Honestly, Eddie, it's not bad. It's $12 a month. You pay one time for $12, and you can watch any of the games that are on there. So I understand that you want to that you want them free, and we like them to be free, but it costs $500 to buy a game. So Eddie, if you want to fork out some money to us, we would love to do a game on NetSN. You just tell us what game you want, you sponsor it, we'll try to get it. So just let us know. It's down more. Well, sometimes it's NFHS and sometimes it's the people doing it. We try to ours is as good as we can do. We try to get out there quality broadcasts, and so I mean, here we go. But yeah, can't help some of that.
I will say that I was a big I thought NFHS was a big negative when I then started doing games with NFHS, I realized just what Brett said. A lot of the times it's not on NFHS's end. A lot of the times it's on the people that are streaming the game. Mm-hmm. So yes, I understand the frustration with NFHS. I totally get it. But Texan Live will have those same problems because if you notice, a lot of Texan Live feeds are NFHS feeds. It'll have it at the very bottom and the bottom left. So they get a lot of the same feeds. So it's not always on NFHS. Now, I'm not saying NFHS is perfect. Nothing's perfect. We have tech issues.
It's technology in general. So,
but for me personally, just experiencing it, because we broadcasted a game, or we didn't do it, but I know there was a different broadcast crew for the regional tournament in Prosper, and on Friday it worked well for one game, and then it didn't work well for the next game, and then the next day same thing happened. So like it's not always NFHS's problem. Sometimes it's whoever's streaming the game's problem. So that's all I want to just clarify that. It's not always on NFHS.
And there's no perfect broadcast team, Eddie. I know you guys Texas Arcana Game Day, they do a good job, but I mean, sometimes you just can't help it. I know they had an issue this year where they went to a stadium and they couldn't do a broadcast. Sometimes that happens. It just does. So we love to do games, and so we're going to provide all the best coverage that we can. I just want everyone to know that it's out there. If you don't, you can watch it if you choose to watch it. I think it's a good deal, honestly. $12, you can watch any game you want that's out there. There's a lot of them.
And I promise you that when there's technical issues, the people at the game that are having to deal with it are a lot more frustrated than you are that it's not working. Like,
oh yeah,
that is the absolute worst.
Yeah, you should have seen me in the press box in Lindale. Oh my God.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like, you go to a game right now, a playoff game, you're paying $8 probably to get in. Just plus your drive there. I mean, you can pay $12 and watch a whole time of playoffs and sit at your house. So, it's not that big a deal. So, and it does not cost that much, Eddie. You are wrong. You are wrong there.
It may be a season. It might be a season.
You might know a lot of things that is not the correct amount. So I know that as being the owner of NetSN, and we bought a game last week for the Gilmer Center game, and it was not that amount. So wherever you got your facts, they're wrong there. But needless to say, we're going to be covering some games this weekend. We appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. We missed our man Vincent Johnson, but you want to catch him, he'll be on the call tomorrow night with me over in Longview. So with that, for K.O. Collins, for Christian Blevins, Corey Marshall, we'll catch you next week. We'll wrap up some games right here again, 8:30 p.m. Wednesday night, the weekly wrap-up show. Good night, everybody.
Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at L4FRclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics,